I got today off. Today's Friday. We got a rain day today, which is very rare for the company I work for. So I got a day off. Only problem is I don't get paid for it. But anyways, today we're going to do a do-it-yourselfer video. I'm going to put rear brakes and rear discs / rotors on the back of my wife's GMC Terrain. Today's going to be a little tricky. I don't have a cameraman for the first time, so we'll see how well we do. It's probably going to be a little interesting. Look at the lovely weather we got here this morning. Snowed overnight, first snowfall of the year here in upstate New York. It was like 33 degrees this morning. You guys remember this ride. This is one I kind of had a little problem with in the very first video that we made. 2017 GMC Terrain. We're going to do rear brakes, rear rotors. Pretty simple job. Easy do-it-yourselfer. We got to move a bunch of stuff around so we can get the wife's car in. We got to move these torches, this jack, tree stand, air hose, some other stuff. Take her car for a little test drive right now, see if we can hear any abnormal sounds. This morning I took Brenna to school, and of course I got in and it was empty. I don't know if any of you subscribers to the page have that problem with your significant other, but every time I get in her car it's empty. So me being a nice hubby that I am, I filled it up for her. Look at that. I don't know if you could hear that, but I hear some grindage. You hear that? That's pretty impressive. That's a good woman right there. She runs it till there's nothing left. It's the way I like it. If I'm gonna fix something, I want something to fix. Oh yeah, they're nasty. All right, let's back this beast up and back it in the shop. All right, here we go. Here's the brake pads, discs. Bought myself a little something too for the shop. This is to help hold the frame up. Wheel dollies. I've been wanting these for quite a few years, so there's another thing off the list. See, it's the first time I've done rear brakes on this one, so we got to get ourselves a pry bar. First thing we got to do, and get right in here behind that groove and pop that cap off so we can get to the lugs. Just like that. Now we got to get the impact wrench, take off those lug nuts. Somebody really put these bad boys on there. Sometimes you got to use the foot method. All right, so we got the tire off. Had to use my whole body weight to get those lugs broke free. That's crazy. Shouldn't be on there that tight. Aluminum, sometimes they like to seat on with aluminum. So it's a pretty straightforward job. There's your disc, rotor, whatever you want to call it. So I gotta get a Torx head and pull that off. That'll let that come off. First of all, we gotta take the caliper off, which should be a couple bolts on the back side. There's one right there, slide pin, one up top. Fold that out of the way. And then we'll pull that right off there. Let's just guess that it's a 15. I'm not sure what it is. Bad guess. Smaller. So they're on there pretty tight, so when I got my snap-on ratchet. 3/8 ratchet, 14 millimeter socket. There's one. All right, there's number 2. Take this caliper off. Roll it right back here out of the way. Now we got to remove the caliper bracket, which there's 2 more bolts behind that. We just took off the caliper, and now you got to take off the caliper bracket, which there's 2 bolts, one right there and one right there. Number 2. There's the bracket with the pad still stuck in it. Next thing up is the rotor. It was easy. Probably gonna have to back that parking brake off, if I had to guess. Sometimes if they're stuck on there, you gotta give them a little tap. Sometimes they're hard to get off. This is where the job gets a little tricky. You're gonna have to probably use a 2-pound hammer because you gotta pound on the rotor in between the lugs because it's stuck to the hub. So let's see what we got here. Blaster, we're gonna spray it here around the hub, around the lug, or around the studs as well. I have a feeling it's hanging up on the parking brake. 9 times out of 10, that's what I find. So hopefully that will get in there and work. So I'm having problems getting this rotor off. So I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to back off the parking brake. Right there's the rubber plug for it. So we gotta remove that. And then I get a flathead screwdriver in there and get on that adjusting wheel and loosen it, back them off a little bit, and hopefully that'll allow that to come off. It's the only thing I can think that's holding it because I've been pounding on it and I got about a 1/2 pound of rust on the floor and it's not coming off like it should. There's that. I was able to get in the inspection hole and I'm pretty sure I was able to back off that parking brake just a little bit. See if we can get this hub or rotor off. Oh, look at that. So there's the exact same rotor, I can tell just by looking at it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the new rotor on. Then we're gonna adjust that parking brake after we get the new brakes on, whatnot. So new pads, rear pads right here. Good thing to do is take a wire brush to this and clean it off, because it's pretty crappy actually. Slide pins are working nice. Sometimes you should pull them off and put some Never-Seez or some lithium grease on them, but these are working pretty good. Yeah. Looks good. So there you go, we got the pads inside the caliper bracket. Now we're going to put a rotor on. And make sure we line this inspection hole up with the parking brake adjuster. So this goes on here just like this. Over here, put a little Never-Seez on this. That way when we put it back in there, it'll come out easier next time. Don't take much, just a little dab. This piston right here, we got to push that back in. push that back in so it's flush. That way we got room for the new brake pads. C-clamp is on here. It's going to push this back in flush. Now we're good. Now we'll put the caliper bracket back in, which is this guy right here. A little bit of never sees on these bolts. That way they'll come out next time way easier. Got one started. And put the other one in. It's right here. That one should line up a little easier since that's that first one is. There, those are on nice and snug and tight. Now all we have to do is put the caliper back on, which is this guy right here. That drops right on there. Put a little more never sees on those bolts. Now we can tighten those up. Alright, we're going to transfer the rubber plug out of the old caliper, or old rotor, into this one. That back in, so the dust and dirt and salt can't get in there. Alright, it's time to put the tire back on. Give them a little impact. Should go on a star pattern if you want to do it perfect. And to be like perfect, you should torque those down, but we're not torquing them. There it is. So that took a little bit longer than I wanted. That's one side. Repeat the same process for the other side. All right, so just want to show you these pads. They are pretty well junk, pretty much gone, and the rotor's pretty well grooved out. So I think the wifey, she got all she could out of that set of rotors and pads. So back in the car, what you want to do now is just slightly, gently pump your brakes, because it's pushing the pistons back out against the pad and the pad's against the rotor. And it feels like they're already back. All right, we're going to take this for a spin now. We're going to take for a spin now and see how they work, see if we hear any more noise back there. Always test drive after you fix something. That way you'll know if you got issues. Her likes when I drive her ride because she knows I have a heavy foot. Sounds pretty good to me. Problem solved. And there you have it, babe. And that's how you do a brake job on a 2017 GMC Terrain.